Hey friends, welcome back to Bike TV. Today we're going to check out Benno's newest model and a revamp of a very cool design they released a number of years ago called the Remidemi. What we have here today is the Remidemi XL. So the Remidemi XL is Benno's entry into the small fat wheel utility cargo bike, what Benno likes to term e-tility, which is to say an e-bike that has extra utility capabilities without being this monstrous, heavy, traditional cargo bike. There's lots of super cool features on the new Remidemi XL, so let's dive into it. So the first thing that will likely catch your eye with the Remidemi XL are those wheels. Basically what Benno is trying to achieve here is to create a bike that has a very low deck height, hence the 20-inch wheel, but also offer a bike that is really sure-footed, offers a really confident ride, and without having the bike feel really ponderous and slow and heavy. The bike itself comes in at quite a respectable 65 pounds or so, depending on accessories you may have on it. And the bike features an aluminum frame with a steel fork on the front. And that aluminum frame is going to offer a very stiff, let's say torsionally stiff bicycle, which matters a lot when you've got a couple of kids or maybe an adult on the back. The other thing that's really apparent is the styling. You know, it has, for me, it kind of has vibes of maybe a Honda Ruckus scooter, which some of you might be familiar with, or maybe even a classic Vespa or a Lambretta with the styling and curves kind of at the back of the bike. Clearly, Benno was trying to create a bike that visually was quite inspiring and fun to look at, as well as being quite practical. That practicality is really obvious in the low step that you can see in the main frame. To try to keep that low step area where you get on and off the bike open, Benno has put the battery behind the seat tube, and there is space for a second battery if you felt like you wanted to extend your range. Being that this is quite a new bike for Benno, they have spec'd this bike with Bosch's new smart system. And it features a smart system performance line motor with 75 Newton meters of torque, which is quite a lot of torque for this little bike. Bosch's simple kind of display-free Purion display also features built-in lighting that's wired into the system. And just a bit more about that motor. You know, that motor is pretty zesty. I'm going to say that this new smart system components, after my test ride last night and this morning, you know, it's got a lot of punch, which will be quite useful for people that maybe aren't super strong, or when you have a large load on the bike and you're trying to get up a fairly substantial hill. Now, the stock bike comes with Bosch's 400 watt-hour battery pack, which some may think is maybe a little bit small. It is possible to expand that into a bigger battery pack if you so desired. But the bike's use case is really for bombing around the city and doing normal errands, and that 400 watt-hour battery should give you anywhere between about 35 and 75 kilometers on a charge, depending on how you're using the system. Braking duties are provided by Magura's MT22 braking system, which is really nice, got great lever feel, very powerful. Shifting duties are provided by a 9-speed derailleur system from Shimano with a nice wide range on the back there, coupled with that smaller 20-inch wheel, gives you quite a bit of torque for trying to get uphill. One of the wonderful things about Benno is their accessory ecosystem for their bikes is amazing. They have quite a few accessories for for every bike model that they make, and really can be configured for how you're living your life on the bike today. So maybe today you're single, no kids, and you're just rolling around with a puppy and some groceries. Benno can handle that. If you are further along in your family life and you have 1 or 2 kids, 2 baby seats can be installed in the back, and you can even put a mini on the front if you were so inclined. There's provisions on the front of the bike for Benno's frame-mounted front rack, which can take a hefty 50 pounds of cargo, and it's mounted to the frame as opposed to the steering, so the weight is distributed really, really nicely onto the ride, maintaining that light, positive, fun riding quality that it's got. And speaking about the ride quality, I didn't really know what to expect about this Remidemi XL when I first got on it. My only benchmark for it was the original Remidemi, which was a steel frame when it first came out, and it was a pretty heavy bike. That original one also had bigger tires, and so that would be the benchmark that I'm working from when trying to decide how this bike was maybe going to feel. But what I can say out of the gates is it is so fun to ride. It's really light. It's got this zippy kind of ride quality to it. The front end is quite light, and so it really does feel like a really unique bike that has just kind of like a lively personality is probably the best way to describe it. Benno's gone with a slightly smaller tire than what was on the original. So this particular bike comes with a 3.6-inch wide tire, which is more or less a fat bike tire. But that little bit of narrowing that they did on the tire has actually made the bike feel quite a bit lighter and maintains that kind of fun, throw it around, kind of bombing around and making turns and all that kind of stuff. It's just a really, really fun bike to ride. Contact points are all really nice too. The pedals are quite grippy that it comes with. They're going to be an aluminum big platform style pedal. The grips themselves are an ergonomic type grip, so it feels really great on your hands. And the saddle, though a bit wide for my tastes, many will probably like it, but saddles are changeable, and that's not a big deal, but it does come with a wide saddle. Now, the bike itself says that it can fit somewhere between sort of like the low 5-foot height up to the low 6-foot height. Now, I'm 5'7" on a tall day, and you can see where the seat height is placed on this bike now. That was pretty good for me. What I'll say is the bike actually feels quite short in its reach, and so if you were under 5'8", down to sort of 5'2", 5-foot area, this bike is actually going to probably fit you really, really well. The positioning is very upright. You do sit straight up, and so you don't really feel like you have to reach very far to get to the handlebars. And that presents itself, also kind of helps keep the front end really light because you're not leaning forward and have a lot of weight on the bike. So load capacity on the Remidemi XL is 420 pounds. Really you have to minus, that's the gross weight that the bike can handle. So really have to minus out that 65 pounds of bike weight. So you're really looking kind of in that sort of 340 kind of world, and which is an amazing weight capacity for this bicycle. So not only is it great as a utility bike and carrying passengers, but perhaps you're just trying to get back into cycling and you wanted a really easy bike, a very approachable bike, one that's easy to ride, and maybe you're a little bit bigger person and finding that you can't actually find a bike that will accept your body weight. This one might be of interest for people that are a little bit heavier and trying to get into cycling for the first time, or maybe trying to just get riding again. So it's definitely worth considering with that low step and very comfortable upright ride position and that very powerful Bosch motor. So that's the Remidemi XL. We have a demo available in our shop for you to come test ride. Test rides don't happen in the winter if there's snow around, so keep that in mind. But if the roads are clear, you're welcome to come take it for a little test ride. So hope to see you at the shop soon. See you next time.